will be disbursed in end June this year.
Some of them promise you $300 per month. I say, please don't insult my residents. You think what? They are here to be bribed?
Mr. Chan took the words right out of my mouth. The clip has been making its rounds on social media with the PAP's hypocrisy and tactic laid bare. But there's a more serious matter at play here. The SDP chairman Paul Tambaya has presented our party's views on Lawrence Wong's budget and our own shadow budget. I encourage all of you to watch it. Now, what I want to address in this video is the approach this government has taken towards resolving the cost of living crisis in its budget. Mr. Wong has made vouchers and rebates front and center of his budget. But the people are able to see through the government's ploy. It escalates the cost of living and then gives out vouchers to help the people cope with inflation that it caused in the first place. Vouchers, I might add, that are insufficient, says the majority of Singaporeans. Now, the best example of this ploy is the government fretting about the fall in birth rate when it knows damn well that it is the prohibitively expensive cost of living that is driving couples away from having children. It then goes ahead and adds to this pressure by increasing the GST to 9%. Then it announces that it will increase the child development account grant by another $5,000 for couples to entice them to have 3 or more children. Singaporeans are already facing a financial nightmare to have 1 or 2 children. You expect folks to jump at the additional $5,000 just to have a 3rd or 4th child. This is wayang at its best. If the government really wants to improve the situation, it can, as the SDP proposes, lower the GST back to 7 or even 5%, as well as remove the GST for essential items like milk formula, rice, oil, school supplies, medication, and so on. Now, the aim is to lower the cost of living to genuinely affordable levels that will give Singaporeans financial security and peace of mind so that they would want to have children. Isn't this a more sensible approach than to perform the kabuki of continuing to raise the cost of living in a city that is already the most expensive in the world, and then dole out insufficient vouchers and meaningless grants? Another example is the government issuing the public transport voucher of $60 for commuters. But it raised bus and MRT fares last December by 6%, as it has repeatedly done so in years past. The SDP has a better solution. Why don't we make it free for our senior citizens to take public transport during non-peak hours like what Taiwan and Korea are doing? Again, doesn't this make more sense than raising fares and then giving out a $60 voucher? The third example is the Fresh Start housing scheme. This initiative is aimed at helping low-income families with children in rental flats buy their own flats. Now, these families will receive an additional $25,000 from the $50,000 grant they now get. The problem here is that if any of the income earners in the family get retrenched, they will be in ever greater debt. The government keeps increasing BTO prices, make them out of reach for poorer families, and then gives out grants like this Fresh Start housing scheme. Such a scheme does not address the root problem of unaffordable public housing. Why don't we significantly lower BTO prices by introducing the SDP's proposal of the non-open market system where land cost is removed from the price of BTO flats? This will effectively halve BTO prices and stop younger couples and low-income families from getting into the debt trap. It also means that retirees won't have to deplete their CPF savings by paying for expensive HDB flats. Remember, land in Singapore is a precious commodity that belongs to the people. It should be used to provide a reassuring roof over the heads of the many, not to generate profit for the few. But the PAP keeps this approach, that is increasing the cost of living and then giving out goodies, for 3 reasons. The first is that it gives people the impression, especially in an election year, that this is a benevolent government. But here's the trick. While the price increases are announced with little fanfare, the tong tong chiang is sounded loud and clear for all to see and hear when it comes to giving out vouchers and grants. And the second reason is that the increased cost of living drives up GDP growth which allows the PAP to look like it is working hard to expand the economy and then to use it as an excuse to increase the ministers' salaries. The third is that as long as the people are struggling to make ends meet, we don't have time to do much else like scrutinize government actions and policies. In the coming days during the Committee of Supply debate in Parliament, let's not get lost in the weeds when debating the budgets of the various ministries. Instead, let us see through the PAP's tactic of continually inflating taxes and prices and then expecting the people to sing its praises when it doles out vouchers and grants. It's like the abusive husband that expects the wife to praise him when he stops beating her. No, we must substantially and meaningfully lower the cost of living so that Singaporeans can live secure and fulfilled lives. The SDP wants Singaporeans to thrive, not just survive. We want the people to get ahead, not just get by. With our alternative ideas, by the way, alternatives that the PAP has copied on numerous occasions, we can achieve this vision. This is the crucial difference in the government's budget versus the SDP's alternative shadow budget. Now, the government can continue to do what it does. But as Abe Lincoln once said, you can fool some of the people all of the time and all of the people some of the time. But you cannot fool all of the people all of the time. Now there comes a moment, such as presently, when Singaporeans awaken and see through the PAP's charade, as Mr. Chan Chun Seng has so astutely and eloquently expressed.
I say, please don't insult my residents. You think what? They are here to be bribed?